What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Country Cast. Whether you are a fan of Luke Bryan or bro country was just never really your thing, there is no denying the fact that Luke Bryan is one of country music's biggest stars. And today we are going to take a deep dive into Luke Bryan's incredible journey, a journey that was earned and came with much success as well as much loss. Now, just real quick before we dive into our mini documentary on Luke Bryan today, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our subscribers and supporters out there, and to the many of you who continue to stop by the channel and watch but are not yet subscribed. Thank you, and if you could please take a moment and subscribe, it would help us out so much here at Country Cast. Again, thank you to everyone. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Thomas Luther Bryan, aka Luke Bryan, was born on July 17th in the year of 1976 down in Leesburg, Georgia. Leesburg, Georgia was home to the Bryan family, where Luke's father grew peanuts and sold fertilizer for a living. Now, Luke almost never even began his road to country music. A quick fact before we continue on, and this may come as a shock to some of you, but around 4th grade, Luke Bryan was hit by a car. That's a pretty intense event for a kid to go through. Luke Bryan shared the story during a recent interview with Bobby Bones, and when he was asked about it, he said, "On this particular day, I decided to walk my girlfriend to the buses, which made me late for coming back across the road to get back to my house. So it was about 3:35 p.m. and the crossing guard had left. So a school bus is coming down the road. Now, we're not talking about a highway here. We're talking about Leesburg, Georgia. So the school bus pulls up and lets its stop sign out for me to cross, and I take off running, and a car runs the stop sign, and I run into the side of the car and get hit with the side mirror. It spins me around in the road, the car slams on brakes, and I take off running to the house." Luke also explained that because he crossed later than expected crossing times after school, he faced in-school suspension even after being hit by the car. A pretty crazy story there from Luke. Thankfully, Luke came out all right and uninjured. So with that, let's continue on with Luke Bryan's incredible journey. Throughout his youth, he helped out on the peanut farm, but by Luke's early teen years, he really fell in love with country music. Thanks to Bryan's parents, some of his earliest influences in the genre came from some of the biggest and legendary names in the business. Artists like George Strait, Ronnie Milsap, Merle Haggard, Conway Twitty, and Alan Jackson. Not only did his parents' music choice inspire the country singer, but they also saw something very special in Luke. And at 14 years of age, his parents bought him his first guitar, and the road to Nashville quickly began. Throughout juggling a job at an IGA supermarket in Leesburg, working on the family farm, attending school, and learning the guitar, Luke managed to stay focused on the music and gained talent which would allow him to set out to the local clubs in the area, where he had the opportunity to set in with local bands who had gigs playing guitar and singing during their sets. And as early as 16 years old, Luke Bryan began writing songs, which elevated his plan on moving to Music City after high school and becoming a country music artist. However, after high school at 19 years old, Luke Bryan and his family encountered tragedy. In the year of 1996, Luke Bryan's older brother, Chris Bryan, passed away at 26 years old after a car accident. After the sudden loss of his brother, Luke put away his plans to move to Nashville and decided to stay home to be with his mother and family. Luke went on to college at Georgia Southern University, where he continued to write songs and play music, playing shows at bars and the local venues on campus, never giving up on his dream. During this time, Bryan had recorded a self-titled album that he was selling at his local shows, but doing music full-time was not yet really in the cards. Now, by 1999, he graduated from Georgia Southern University and returned back home to continue to work alongside his father. As I mentioned before, Luke's family recognized early on that Bryan had a gift, and staying at home to work on the peanut farm was not an option. Even though Luke struggled with if he should head to Nashville or not, his father ultimately gave him his blessing to go and was very confident in his son pursuing his dream. And in the year of 2001, Luke Bryan moved to Nashville. Songwriting was what struck first for Luke, and upon him settling into Nashville, he signed a publishing deal. For those who may not know, some of his first cuts were for the man himself, Mr. Travis Tritt and Billy Currington. Bryan co-wrote on Travis Tritt's song Honky Tonk History, which was the title track to Tritt's 2004 album My Honky Tonk History. Luke also co-wrote on one of Billy Currington's most famous hits, Good Directions, which was released on his album Doin' Something Right in 2006. Throughout his time primarily focused on songwriting, Luke was still playing steadily around town and performing originals that he had wrote. And only 1 year after Billy Currington cut Good Directions, Luke Bryan had been signed by Capitol Records. In the year of 2007, Luke released his debut album, I'll Stay Me, which featured his first single, All My Friends Say, which was a massive debut for Bryan. I'll Stay Me produced 2 more singles, We Rode in Trucks, as well as Countryman. Luke's debut album has since been certified gold, and well, the rest is history when it comes to Luke's massive success. However, as Luke was getting his feet wet and solidifying himself in country music with his first album, he and his family would again be struck with unexpected tragedy. In that same year, May of 2007, Luke Bryan's sister, Kelly Bryan, passed away suddenly. Luke spoke to Distractify in an interview where he said, "She was home with her 3-year-old, and it was like someone turned the lights out. They never determined what happened. The autopsies, the coroner, no one could figure it out. It's abnormally tragic. But I've come to a peace. I don't like it. I don't like that my sons are missing that side of my family. But someone else is deciding things." Luke again picked himself back up and continued to remain focused on his lifelong goal. Following the release of his debut album, Luke went on to release several more albums. Doing My Thing, Tailgates and Tan Lines, Crash My Party, a Spring Break EP compilation album, Spring Break Here to Party, incorporating his songs from his Spring Break EPs at the time. Now, out of those releases, 3 albums went number 1, including the Spring Break EP, which has certified as gold, while Tailgates and Tan Lines and Crash My Party have certified as multi-platinum records. During this time, Luke Bryan also took home several ACM awards, and in 2012 he was crowned the ACM's Entertainer of the Year. Bro country was controversial, but also a very popular era of country music, as Luke Bryan was at the forefront of it all. Fast forwarding to the end of 2014, Luke Bryan again took home Entertainer of the Year, this time from the CMAs, but following his win, he and his family suffered a 3rd loss in their family. Luke Bryan's brother-in-law, Ben Cheshire, who was married to his sister Kelly, also suddenly passed away on November 29th of 2014. Kelly and Ben shared 3 children, and Bryan and his wife Caroline, being the wonderful family-oriented people and loving folks that they are, immediately stepped in and took in his nieces and nephew, Jordan, Chris, and Till. As heartache and loss found its way back into Luke's life, he again persevered and embraced the more prominent role in his nieces and nephew's life, as well as continuing to be a wonderful father to his 2 sons, Thomas and Tate, all while managing his highly successful career as a country music star at the time, at the top of the game. Since 2014, Luke Bryan has released more Spring Break EPs, Spring Break Checkin' Out, Spring Break Like We Ain't Ever, and his Farm Tour EP, Here's to the Farmer, along with 3 studio albums, Kill the Lights, What Makes You Country, and Born Here, Live Here, Die Here. All albums peaked at number 1 on the U.S. country charts, with Kill the Lights and Born Here, Live Here, Die Here certifying as platinum. And not to mention, he won the CMA Entertainer of the Year again in 2015 and the ACM Entertainer of the Year award in 2021. As Luke Bryan found much success, and much success continuing into today, he has also launched his own beer, Two-Lane Beer, his own restaurant, Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Restaurant in Nashville, Tennessee, his own record label, 32 Bridge Entertainment. He hosts American Idol, and of course, being a part of the Buck Commander crew as he is an avid outdoorsman. So 27 #1 singles, several #1 and platinum selling records, 5-time winner of the Entertainer of the Year award, an entrepreneur with his degree in business administration, an outstanding father and family man. I'd say that Luke Bryan has earned every ounce of success. In this business, success is already not easy to gain, and Luke Bryan not only faced that and the machine head on, but with much tragedy and loss within his personal and family life. To have Luke Bryan a part of country music is truly something special, and a story that will be told for generations to come. Guys, thank y'all for tuning in today and hearing the story of Luke Bryan, as he is a greater part of country music than what many may even realize. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. That will be all for today's video here on CountryCast.